What's up, YouTube? Prep for Life here, doing a video over my new EDC First Aid Kit. Not what you're looking at, by the way. Some of you actually have probably seen this and are going, yeah, that's your EDC bag, or the first aid kit that goes in your EDC bag. Yes, that's true. However, I've actually changed my EDC bag because I find myself carrying my school bag with some of my books in it more than my EDC bag. I decided to transition a lot of my stuff into a new backpack, and I went out and bought a better backpack that could hold more stuff, a little higher quality, and I'm actually going to use my Falcon 2 that y'all have seen in previous videos as my get home bag that stays in my car. So I'm going to change a lot of things around, and I promise I'll update y'all as soon as I can. But what I wanted to say was I wanted to find a case for my new first aid kit, and after watching Nut and Fancy's level 2 video, level 1 video that he had on YouTube, I decided to try to find a bag similar to that one. He had his in a return document envelope bag or something. I don't know what it was called, but I found that they're next to impossible to find. So I went on the hunt for a bag that I thought I would like, and I ended up not finding one, and I actually ended up finding something I like a little bit more, but is going to be a little bit bigger, so it's going to take up a little bit more room. So enough with that. I'll show you. I went out and found this Plano 3440 waterproof case, and I actually purchased this at Walmart for I think $5. So, and I think that was with tax. I think it was a total of $5. And the reason I went with this is because I wanted something that I could take out of my bag if it was raining, or if I wanted to go on a boat or something, and know that it wasn't going to get wet, or if my bag got wet, that all the materials inside didn't get wet. And for those of y'all who build your own first aid kits, you know that materials to build first aid kits are very expensive. So why not pay an extra $1 or $2 to get a waterproof container to put it in? That way you don't have to worry about getting it all ruined. I mean, you can take a look inside this bag and see, I mean, I have a lot of stuff in here, and I mean, there's probably a good $30 plus worth of stuff in here, and it actually is probably more than that, but you know, if I could just move this into a case like this, I don't have to worry about it getting ruined if it gets wet, which was something I wanted to avoid. So like I said, I found this, and the reason I liked this one over maybe a Pelican case or something like that is actually the way it closes, the closures. It actually snaps closed on 3 sides. As you can see, it's got the one long one and then the 2 short ones on the top and the bottom. You can feel the security when it closes. You can hear it, but it's very, very secure. But the reason I like having so many closures actually is that it seals it all the way around better. If you've ever noticed, and most of you probably haven't, you can actually close Pelican cases sometimes, even with things hanging out, and it actually doesn't get a good seal. And I found that out the hard way one day when my girlfriend and I were on our jet skis. The box went into the water and then got submerged, and it was just infiltrated with water, and it actually ruined her iPhone, so I had to buy her another one. So that was something that I knew I needed to try to avoid this time. So anyways, I bought this one, and I also bought this one, which is the bigger version, as you can see, which is the 3640. So you've got the 3640, and then you've got the 3440. This is the one I'm using for my first aid kit now. This is actually one that I plan on making a bigger first aid kit for, and either giving it away or putting it in my car, maybe just keeping it in the house as an extra first aid kit. I just kind of wanted, they were both super cheap. This was $5, this was $7. and I just wanted to see how well, what kind of first aid kit I could build out of these. And tonight I went ahead and put together a small first aid kit, still lacking a few things, but you have to understand this is not a first aid kit that is designed to take on any kind of trauma. This is a first aid kit that's in my EDC bag, so it needs to be full of stuff that I use every day. My girlfriend, so over the years I have made a list of things that my girlfriend and I need and we use a lot of, and I put it into this case. So you're not going to see a whole bunch of 5x9 abdominal gauze pads or anything like that. So don't even bother putting those in the comments. Those are going to be in a different first aid kit, not in my school bag. Just remember, this is something that needs to be light and small in order for it all to fit. I'm not going to be able to fit abdominal pads in here. So we'll go over the contents real quick. And by the way, earlier I forgot to mention there's a nice rubber seal, and it's actually red, which is perfect because it's a first aid kit. I figured it was very fitting to have a red rubberized seal, or that matches like a typical first aid kit. So here first we just have a small set of hemostats, which are basically just small plier tweezer things. And actually the great part is with these guys is you can actually, if I can get the camera to focus, there we go, you can see how small those get, and they can clamp onto just about anything. See that? I mean, you can snag a nice you can snag splinters and all kinds of cool stuff with these guys. They're super light. I work at a hospital, and we throw unused hemostats out of suture kits away, and so anytime they don't get used, I take them home and hang on to them. And I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. I've got a nice little collection going there, plus I have more in the back of the closet. I probably have 25 or 30 of them, but they just come in handy, so I never throw them away. These are also good for manipulating skin whenever you're trying to deal with a wound, or if you have sutures in your first aid kit, which I don't typically recommend carrying sutures, but if you did, these are perfect for using to suture. This is actually what the doctors use to suture. It comes out of a suture kit. So have many uses, and I really like them. This is just a small irrigation tube with 0.9 sodium chloride, and basically it's just a fancy word for the same salt water that you have in your body. So you can put this in your eyes. You can what I keep it in here for is to irrigate small cuts and wounds. So if I have a small wound that I need to either Steri-Strip closed, or I need to Dermabond, or basically super glue closed, anything like that, I use this guy to irrigate it out first to make sure that I'm not closing a bunch of junk in my cut, and then I don't have to worry about it getting infected. And it's pretty small. It's only about 15 cc's, just enough for one quick cut for irrigation. These are a bunch of different pills that my girlfriend and I take regularly. This is Advil, 200 milligrams. We got Zyrtec and Pepto. She hates the taste of Pepto, but she gets stomach aches regularly, so I usually keep Pepto tablets in here. And I'm also going to start keeping some Zofran on hand for her because she tends to get sick. So these are a mix of her and I's, drugs, good drugs. Carmex. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that I always keep a tube of Carmex. This is actually Coban. If you're unfamiliar with Coban, this is a self-adhesive bandage. Give me 1 second. I don't really want to take this one apart. Let me see if I can find another one. I'll pause the video real quick. Okay, so I found my other roll of Coban, which, by the way, this can be purchased at the store as a full roll. I basically just took a roll off and rolled it up. This is great for if you need to apply pressure but don't want to sit there and hold it, or maybe tape isn't sticking very well, it's not staying in place. This is great for those kinds of things because you can just take it and wrap it around something and without any adhesive whatsoever, and you can tighten that guy up, you know, it'll actually let's see if I can show you. It'll actually adhere to itself, and you can see how red my finger's getting. That's on pretty tight. So it's awesome because if you have a cut that's not bleeding, or that it's bleeding and you can't get to stop bleeding, this is great for putting like a 2x2 on and then wrapping the Coban around it, and it'll keep you from having to sit there and hold it. It'll compress it on its own, which is very handy. And you can buy this stuff at your local pharmacy or whatever. So it's very handy. These are what we use at the hospital. They're called blunts. This is actually what we draw medication up out of vials with. But what I love to use them for are for splinters. You can use the needle to dig out a splinter very well. So I keep a few of these in here. It's a tourniquet. This is hospital or medical tape. And basically what this is tape that is perforated, and so it allows it to breathe better on your skin. So it allows your skin to breathe while you have it on, so it doesn't get very moist. And I'll actually cover why that's important in just a second. Here's a bag full of just different size bandages, from very small to medium, large, extra large, all kinds of good stuff. I think there's probably 35 bandages in here between all the different sizes. You've got nail polish remover, and you've got towelettes, like the soap towelettes. This is Dermabond. This is the same stuff that you can get at your local store, and actually I bought some today. I can show you real quick. This is basically super glue. I bought this today to test it out. This is called New Skin. I did try it out. It's not quite as awesome as the stuff that I use, but it is not bad, I guess, for over-the-counter stuff. It was $2. You get a nice vial of it, and I think this is great for first aid kits. If you can avoid having to use any type of adhesive bandage, if you're outside and you're sweating, anything like that, that bandage is eventually going to come off. So having something like that or something like this is good. And this is also good for minor lacerations, not gaping wounds, but minor cuts, not very deep, just through the epidermis. You can seal it closed very nicely. Now if it's something that needs multi-layer stitches, you don't want to do that. But you also don't want to super glue anything together without irrigating it out real well. So you have to remember to do that, because all you're going to do is you're going to super glue all that bacteria into the cut, and that's not going to do you any good, because then that's going to get infected, and they're going to either could possibly have to open it back up if the antibiotics that they put you on don't work. So just think about that before you start super gluing yourself shut. Same thing about stitches. Don't stitch yourself if you haven't cleaned the wound out. What good's that going to do you? These are just 2-ply large alcohol prep pads. This is compound benzoin tincture. What this guy is used for, or why I particularly use it, if you have tape that you need to stay in place and you're just having a very hard time getting it to stick, you can actually apply this to the skin first and then put the tape down, and it makes the tape stick very, very well. So since I carry tape in here, this isn't a necessity. This is just this is a want. But because I carry tape in here, by the way, this is just one of my Dick's Sporting Goods cards that this tape is wrapped around. You put this on first, and this tape will stick very well. Any nurses or anybody who's ever put an NG tube down somebody's nose and then had to secure it know exactly what this is for. Got some 2x2 4-ply gauze, Tegaderm. This is good for sealing cuts that you don't want to get wet, or you want to keep as sterile as possible. The only downside is this isn't a long-term solution. You don't want to replace this for a Band-Aid because your skin can't breathe, so it can't heal properly. So it's going to get moist from the sweat, and it's not going to heal like it should. So this is more for like if you have a cut and you need to take a shower, you can put this over it, or you're sweating, you can put this over it, and it'll keep the water and anything from getting into it. But you still need to take it off and clean the wound, and I would never put this on directly onto a cut. I would always take a piece of gauze first, fold it up and put it down, and then put this guy on top. That way when you rip it off, you don't rip off some of the scab. That would be a bad thing. These are stir strips. If you can actually use these to close wounds, so those are handy. Non-adhesive bandage, non-adherent. What does it say? Non-adherent pads pre-pack. Basically, if you need to if you have somebody who got cuts or scrapes or abrasions, anything like that, lacerations, you want to put a non-adherent bandage on first before you put more gauze on, because what's going to happen is as that wound clots, it's going to clot through the cloth of the gauze, and once you take it off, you're going to rip that clot that's woven its way through the gauze off with the gauze. So this is the same stuff that they put in on the inside of Band-Aids. That's why when you take off a Band-Aid, it never sticks, because it has that non-adherent pad on the inside. So you can put this on first, put this guy on top, and then the piece of tape, or maybe the Coban, whatever you're doing, and it helps out. So this is just my very basic first aid kit. As you probably noticed, I didn't include any Neosporin or anything because I really want to put some individual one-time use Neosporin packets instead of a whole tube, because you can see how big that guy is in this box. It's humongous. So I'm still in the search for that. Other than that, I think it's pretty much complete. I may add a few things here and there like the Zofran. But other than that, for a basic first aid kit, I think this will do just fine. I'm going to do some testing with these boxes just to make sure they hold up as good as I hope they do. And I'll let y'all guys know as soon as possible. Thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions about this first aid kit, or if y'all want me to do or go over any of the other first aid kits that I have, let me know. I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. I'm going to try to crank out some videos this week. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.